dear 11th class economics students, Assalamu alaikum. In this lecture, we'll study the main policies, or we can say measures, adopted by Indian government after independence to improve the performance of agricultural sector. Dear students, in our previous lecture, we studied the different problems faced by Indian agriculture. In order to tackle those problems and mitigate the backwardness of Indian agriculture, the government of India adopted a series of measures which are often studied as agrarian reforms and are broadly classified under three headings. Number first, institutional reforms, which are also called land reforms. Number second, technical reforms, which involves the green revolution, or we can say the new agricultural strategy. And number third, some general reforms. Let us start with the institutional reforms, which are also called the land reforms. Dear students, on the eve of independence, the existing structure of agriculture allowed the landlords and intermediaries to grow richer, and they continue to flourish at the cost of the actual tillers. In order to remove the defects with existing agrarian structure, there was an immediate need of institutional changes in land holdings. In this connection, a high-powered committee in 1948 with Jawaharlal Nehru as its chairman recommended that all intermediaries between the tiller and the state should be eliminated, and all middlemen should be replaced by non-profit making agencies like cooperatives. The maximum size of holdings should be fixed, and the surplus land should be acquired and placed at the disposal of the village cooperatives. It was also recommended that small holdings should be consolidated and steps should be taken to prevent further fragmentation of land. On the basis of these guidelines, the various land reforms had been undertaken. The first step was the abolition of zamindars and the other intermediaries like jagirdars, inamdars, etc., between the state and the cultivators. Legislative measures for the abolition of intermediaries were initiated soon after the independence, starting with Uttar Pradesh and being followed up in other states. The whole process of legal enactments on this issue was completed in the country within a decade, that is from 1950 to 1960. Under this step, ownership rights have been conferred upon those who actually cultivate the soil, and it has been done with a view to stop exploitation of the cultivators by the zamindars. Second type of reforms were tenancy reforms and the reconstruction of land ownership system. Regulation of rents and security of tenure are treated as first stage in the tenancy reforms. During the first plan period, it was suggested that the rent should not exceed one-fourth or one-fifth of the produce in any case. The ultimate goal of tenancy reforms is to confer rights of ownership on as many tenants as possible and bring them in direct contact with the state. Another component of land reforms was the reorganization of agriculture through consolidation of land holdings, fixation of ceiling on land holdings, and redistribution of surplus land among the landless. In order to prevent land fragmentation, steps have been initiated for the consolidation of holdings, which implies the holdings of a farmer at one place rather than scattered in pieces at different places. Students' ceilings, that is the upper limit, has been imposed on the holding size with a view to promote equality in the distribution of land. By imposing the ceilings, the surplus land, that is the land over and above the ceiling limit, has been resumed by the government and redistributed among landless laborers and small landholders. Moreover, cooperative farming has been encouraged to further consolidate the gains of consolidation of holdings. Now, coming to another type of agrarian reforms, that is the technical reforms. Under technical reforms, steps have been taken by the Indian government to upgrade the level of technology in Indian agriculture. Green Revolution, which is also known as New Agricultural Strategy, which took place in our country during 1960s, is an important example of technical reforms in Indian agriculture. Students, let me first make you understand what is Green Revolution. The Green Revolution was a period when the production and productivity of global agriculture, including the Indian agriculture, increased drastically as a result of new advances like the use of high yield varieties of seeds, fertilizers, pesticides, etc. The beginning of the Green Revolution are often attributed to an American scientist, Norman Borlaug. From India, Dr. M.S. Swaminathan led the Green Revolution as the project. Now, coming to Green Revolution in India, students in the later half of the second five-year plan, a team of experts sponsored by the Ford Foundation was invited by the Government of India to suggest ways and means in order to increase agricultural production and productivity. The team submitted its report entitled India's Food Crisis and Steps to Meet It in April 1959. This report suggested intensive efforts for increasing agricultural production and productivity in selected regions of the country, with stress on modern inputs, especially on fertilizers, agricultural credit, high yield seeds, marketing facilities, etc. On the basis of the recommendation of this team, the government introduced an intensive development program in 7 districts selected from 7 states in 1960, and this program was named as Intensive Area Development Program or Intensive Agricultural District Program. Dear students, the objective of this program was to increase the production of food grains. After that, Intensive Agricultural Area Program was introduced in 1964 to 65, which aimed for the intensive development of major crops such as wheat, paddy, pulses, cotton, sugar, etc. Later on, the high yielding varieties program was also added, and the strategy was extended to cover the entire country. This new agricultural strategy was put into practice for the first time in India in the Kharif season of 1966 and was termed as High Yielding Variety Program. This program was introduced in the form of a package program since it depended crucially on regular and adequate irrigation, fertilizers, high yielding varieties of seeds, pesticides, and insecticides. The methods used in Green Revolution, or we can see the components of Green Revolution, are mentioned in this slide. The high yield variety seeds were the main input of agriculture production in the Indian Green Revolution. In India since 1965, high yielding variety seeds, that is, the seeds with superior genetics, have replaced the conventional varieties. The Indian Council for Agricultural Research, which was established by British in 1929, was reorganized in 1965 and then again in 1973, and it developed new varieties of high yielding seeds, particularly relating to wheat, rice, bajra, maize, and cotton. National Seeds Corporation has been set up in 1963 to promote the growth and distribution of high yielding variety seeds. After high yielding variety seeds, irrigation is the second most important component of Green Revolution technology. Assured and regular water supply to crops not only adds to production, but it also ensures stability in crop production. In order to meet the requirements of the Green Revolution strategy, irrigation was a precondition for successful introduction of high-yielding variety seeds. Hence, various steps were taken to expand irrigation facilities in the country with more emphasis on exploring groundwater resources. The use of chemical fertilizers and pesticides has been the third most important input of Green Revolution. Chemical fertilizers are being used to enhance the crop productivity, and steps have been initiated to protect crops against diseases and insects by using insecticides and pesticides. Much success of the Green Revolution depends upon farm mechanization. Hence, stress has been given to the role of agricultural machinery and improved implements like tractors, threshers, etc. A number of measures have been adopted in this direction to facilitate the development of agricultural research. Agricultural universities and agro industries corporation has been set up in different states to motivate the cultivators for the application of improved inputs. Moreover, to enable the small farmers to buy agricultural machines, cheap credit facilities are being provided to them by cooperative societies. Another approach in the new agricultural strategy, that is in Green Revolution, is the introduction of double or multiple cropping programs in the country. It aimed at maximizing production per unit of land by taking more than one crop in a year. So instead of one crop season per year, the decision was made to have two crop seasons per year. Furthermore, the area of land under cultivation was also being increased. Now coming to the achievements of Green Revolution in India. Dear students, Green Revolution resulted in the increase in agricultural production and productivity. The major achievement of the new agricultural strategy, or we can say Green Revolution, is boost to the production of major cereals like wheat and rice. Rice production increased from 35 million tons in 1960 to 61 to 99 million tons in 2008 to 9. Similarly, the production of wheat increased from 11 million tons in 1960 to 61 to 81 million tons in 2008 to 2009. The yield per hectare, that is the productivity of rice, has also recorded an improvement from 11 quintals in 1960 to 61 to nearly 22 quintals in 2008 to 9, and the productivity of wheat has also increased from 8.5 quintals to 28.06 quintals during the same time period. Another achievement of Green Revolution is that the introduction of Green Revolution led to the rise in commercial farming. Though the Green Revolution was mainly directed to increase the production of food crops, significant improvement has also been seen in the commercial crops, or we can say cash crops. Significant improvement in the output of sugarcane took place after 1973 to 74. Likewise, there was considerable improvement in the production of other cash crops such as oilseeds, potatoes, etc. The introduction of Green Revolution also helped the farmers in raising their income level. With the increase in farm production, earnings of the farmers also increased and they became prosperous. This technology has also given a boost to agricultural employment because of diverse job opportunities created by multiple cropping system. The Green Revolution created plenty of jobs not only to agricultural workers but also to industrial workers by created related facilities such as factories and hydroelectric power stations. Besides positive impacts of Green Revolution, this new technology has also some negative effects, or we can say the failures of Green Revolution, which are being mentioned in this slide. Dear students, Green Revolution was restricted to only food crops, especially wheat, rice, jawar, bajra and maize, and it did not cover the rest of the crops, especially the pulses. Furthermore, the benefits of Green Revolution remained confined only to the areas where the new technology was used, like Punjab, Haryana, and Uttar Pradesh. But the results were less impressive in other parts of our country, thus created regional inequalities. There is a general consensus that in the early period of Green Revolution, large farmers benefited much more from new technology as compared with the small and marginal farmers, as the new agricultural strategy called for heavy investment, which were beyond the capacity of small and marginal farmers. Hence, the new agricultural strategy led to interpersonal inequalities and the growth of capitalistic farming in Indian agriculture. Dear students, the new agricultural strategy, that is the Green Revolution, did not recognize the need for institutional reforms, that is the land reforms in agriculture. Hence, the bulk of peasants could not enjoy ownership rights. There is also a general consensus that the adoption of new agricultural strategy has reduced labor absorption in agriculture, which means that it led to the rise in unemployment as there has been displacement of agricultural laborers by the extensive use of agricultural machinery. Green revolution also created some adverse impacts on the environment. The new organic fertilizers, pesticides and chemicals are ruining the soil. There is also serious threat of depletion of groundwater due to overexploitation. Although high-yielding variety seeds had their plus points, it has led to significant genetic erosion. Some general reforms were also undertaken to improve the performance of agriculture in India, like irrigation facilities have been expanded. Several major and minor irrigation projects have been launched across different parts of the country. Canals, dams, and tube wells were built for irrigation purpose. In 1951, only 17% of agricultural land was under permanent means of irrigation, but now irrigation is covering about 48% of land under cultivation. Credit facilities have been given to farmers. Previously, farmers had to depend on money lenders for their credit requirements, but now most of the credit needs are fulfilled by credit institutions like cooperatives, commercial banks, and regional rural banks. Cooperative credit societies have been set up to provide credit to farmers at moderate rate of interest. In 1982, National Bank for Agriculture and Rural Development, which is shortly known as NABARD, was established to institutionalize credit facilities to farmers at the national level. With a view to offer remunerative prices to the farmers and protect them against exploitation by the middleman, regulated markets and cooperative marketing societies have been established across all parts of the country. The cooperative marketing societies ensure that farmers' produce is graded and sold only when remunerative price is available. Provision for storage of the crops has also been made by the cooperative societies on behalf of the farmers. In order to protect farmers against market uncertainties, price support policy was introduced by the government of India in 1964. Under this policy, government assures a minimum price to the farmers for their produce. Under the price support policy, the Agriculture Prices Commission was set up in 1965 and it was renamed as Commission for Agricultural Costs and Prices in 1985. Ever since its inception, the Commission has been announcing minimum support prices, procurement prices, and issue prices for a number of agricultural commodities. Under minimum support prices, the government is committed to buy the surplus produce of the farmers at the minimum support price so that prices are not allowed to fall below the announced minimum prices. And lastly, the government provides different types of agricultural subsidies to farmers like fertilizer subsidy, power subsidy, irrigation subsidy, etc., in order to motivate them to increase farm output. So this is all about the reforms that has been undertaken by the government of India in order to improve the performance of agriculture sector. Thank you.